Well, Reg Militia, the riot of the people. I messed up the words, but you all know what it ends with. Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed.
All right. Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I'm Nightstryke, and that was the pre-recorded Smekey from his hit new album, I Messed Up the Words. I got a smaller panel tonight. Hopefully more people will jump in. If not, oh well. Because I got more than a couple links out there. So who do we got here in the chat? We got AWAG 1000. What's going on, AWAG?
Hello. I am AWAG 1000, and I'm going to be nightwagging all night long.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
And then we have our resident CNR collector. We have Cycle Camp. What's going on?
Hey there, Nightstrike. Thanks for the invite.
Ain't no problem, man. All right. And then, we have someone who jumps in every so often. We have the Crazy Scotsman.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
All right. And then, as always, last but certainly not least, there's Travis P11 from the Travi Collective.
Yes. We're still planning our world domination. We have not executed it yet. But in the meantime, man, thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Yeah, right. We won't say any more on that. So, who do we got out there on the gun channel side? We've got Ellis. Smeggy's out there, but he's not in here. We got Gizzard Gary. We got the Smiths. We got Raphael. We got Travis Great. Jake 127. Ohio 45 ACP. Doug D. Cycle Camp. We've got the Pants and Mr. Knives out there on the gun channel side. Who do we have on the YouTube side? Let's check.
We got Raging Herpes.
There was a user on
Bill?
the chat called Raging Herpes. We've got Travis is Great Outdoors, Two Live Moo, Gizzard Gary, the Crazy Scotsman, Travis T, Triple D, Zinger, Doug D, Scott Pacini. We got John Brown, WB, The Juice, and who else do we have? We have Joe Zoella.
Link
Zeal.
Hyrule, don't forget.
And Link Hyrule's out there. So we've got, quite a bunch of people tonight. So, okay, I don't really have a topic tonight, guys. I was hoping you guys had something you wanted to talk about, like what you're expecting for that's going to be released at SHOT Show, or what you're looking forward to going to Tulsa or whatnot, because I really have nothing else to talk about tonight. Other than, what I'm working on right now, and I don't want to talk about it.
Well, here's something that will probably get it going. New Jersey, last night at 12 o'clock in the morning, Governor Chris Christie, his term is being replaced by Phil Murphy. And Phil Murphy's a Democrat, and
what, did he have a heart attack or something?
What?
Did he have a heart attack or something?
No, Chris Christie at 12 o'clock at night signed an executive order directly banning all bump fire stocks and the surrender of said bump fire stocks. Civilians get 90 days to surrender, and stores and FFLs and stuff have 30 days to surrender their stock. And if you don't comply, you get either 3 to 5 years in prison or $15,000 fine, or both, depending on how bad your offense is. Now, what's crazy at this is it was Chris Christie's last like thing that he did, and it's really obnoxious just for the simple fact that I know being Republican or Democrat doesn't really mean much, but the whole fact that a Republican
Well, no,
who
he's not a Republican if he's doing this. He's a rhino, and you
yeah,
know he also said during the during his campaign for president that he was it's not his fault for New Jersey gun laws. If you don't like New Jersey gun laws, don't vote for Democrats. And
but
he
here's
goes
the
around and
thing
does this.
is when he did this, it was in a meeting in Voorhees where they actually, if you were pro-gun, they wouldn't let you in. There were people there shoving pro-gunners out essentially, which is and it won 8-0 essentially. So
Well,
it's kind of hard to
I'm
resist
confused.
something.
You don't do executive orders by committee.
Well, this is one of the articles that I read. Here, I'll try and get a link up so I can show you.
Since when can a governor do an executive order? I thought only a president was allowed to.
I don't know, but
I'm
this
sure
is what I've read.
Governor can do that, but it's still ex post facto, and it's still unconstitutional.
It's very unconstitutional. At the same time, is they also have this thing that I read, and I don't know if it's true. I'm not super into big law lingo, but from what I've read in my normal peasant mind, basically states that if you are suspected of owning one after this 30 or 90-day period, the SWAT teams can essentially kick in your doors and take your personal property. That's what I've read. Brain perceived it as.
That violates the 14th and the 5th.
Yeah.
If there's no warrant.
But the thing is, the government made machine guns illegal, and those that didn't register them had to turn them in after the registration period. So technically, the same thing could be said there too.
No, because they allowed a mechanism for the prior. The reason that wasn't ex post facto was because they allowed a mechanism for a person who had already purchased one to continue to own it. If you didn't want to register it, that was your problem, but all you had to do was register it, which did not impose a penalty other than the registration. So that was not an ex post facto law. These laws are talking about criminal penalties. Imposing a criminal penalty, and it sounds like they're also violating the 5th in that they are seizing property without just compensation. So it violates both the ex post facto standards and the ex post facto law standard. There is actually an article in the Constitution that bans the states from passing them.
Didn't Connecticut also ban bump stocks?
I think it's Massachusetts.
No. What has happened is that we are going into what's called the short legislative session this year, which means it's the only bills that can be put on the table are financial in nature unless they are put forward by the governor or by a committee. And the governor directed one of the committees to put a ban on the table. But we still have to debate it and go through all that happy horseshit. What you're probably talking about is what Massachusetts did, where the Attorney General in Massachusetts not only outlawed them, they've also now got the language of the letter they're going to send out to all registered gun owners saying if you have them, you better turn them in. Again, they won't even let you sell them out of state. As far as we can tell, they have offered no compensation. Again, this is illegal, ex post facto, and illegal seizure without due compensation.
Yeah, and then they're going to, if somebody even challenges that, they're going to say, well, we're the law, deal with it, tough luck. And I'll be honest, stealing from the American people isn't going to make the American people love you and might even cause a rebellion. Just saying.
I hope the hell it does. Sometimes.
I don't like to. I don't like to be that violent or that's straightforward. But the thing is, I mean, for years,
it's kind of needed.
For years, these politicians have been overtaxing us, where they've been having armed security, so they don't need to own firearms, or they don't want to own firearms. They live in lavish houses, whereas the average Joe, he has to fight for what he's got. And now they're trying to take away people's bump stocks, their trigger devices. Hell, they're probably also going to take away your Geisley triggers too. So, they'll probably amend it to where they take the bump stocks, the trigger cranks, the Geisley triggers, anything other than probably mil spec, and even that's even a stretch, and saying, oh, you have to use mil spec springs too. And at that point, yeah.
Then they're going to say, oh, it's military specification. You're not allowed to own that.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say, if you live in one of those states, get ready, because you're in for a fight. Because I guess this is the last straw before they decide to just ban all guns in your state outright, if you're going to let this happen.
Yeah, and here's another thing is with Phil Murphy coming in, he's already made promises that are still very unconstitutional and just outright stupid. Unconstitutional, let's get that out of the way. He wants to become a sanctuary city. He wants complete open. Essentially, he's going to try and do this thing where he gets complete open borders from anybody that coming in over the country is like a state law. It's stupid. And then he vowed to raise taxes like 26%, which is just already a ridiculous amount already. I mean,
Hey, Wag, I'm telling you, come down here. We'll start a gun company. We'll night wagon it.
All right, cool.
Night wagon Rifleworks.
Yeah. So, okay, here's how it is in New Jersey for a, what is it? 4 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,000 square foot house roughly. On half an acre, probably costs around $600,000 in New Jersey, and taxes on top of that are probably $5,000 to $6,000 a year, and that's only state taxes. That's only your house taxes, and when it comes to like income taxes, each paycheck that I get is a little over 10%, which is, it's not that bad. It's still bad because honestly, I think taxation is theft. But yeah, so they're raising those percentages 26%, which will drastically skyrocket everybody's paying price, and soon you're gonna have people just not paying their taxes because it's just gonna be so high.
Man, that is insane for house prices. I couldn't imagine. I mean, your mortgage on that would just be unbelievable. You'd be looking at like $4,000 a month on a 30-year loan.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, you got to be making some pretty good money to pull that off, and I'm sure there are people that do that. But man, that is nuts.
And this is a generally decent neighborhood. This is a neighborhood
Yeah.
that doesn't have that much crime, and it's like my neighborhood is, it's mostly meth heads that you see them one day and then they end up dead in a week or something. I'm not pulling any punches here.
No, that's
I
just
really
the reality
think
of your
it's
environment, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And now that we have a high speed, there's a train track. Usually it's freight locomotives that run past, but it's like I could see the tracks from my house. And now they're putting a high speed line that comes like straight from Camden, which is the epicenter of crime in the entire United States. It has the highest homicide rate in the United States. It has the highest drug death. It's just like this epicenter of just scum.
So, all right, let me tell you something here, AY. There's light at the end of the tunnel. If you decide to move out here where we are, Okay, you can get yourself between a 1,500 and 2,000 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 2-car garage. It's going to cost you about 150,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. You can look up our house listings. I'm not kidding. It's rare to find a house out here anything over 250, 275 is not unheard of, but it's there. You don't really get that. And they're nice
Yeah.
places too, man. I mean, it's plus you get your gun freedom and yeah.
Yeah, the only thing about that is it's so far away from my family.
No, I know. I hear you, man. I'm just saying there's always other places you can go because I know East Coast prices are just insane.
A lot of the guys I know on gun channels and around, even on the chats, don't like their family in the first place. I mean, what's your problem?
Yeah, well, I have a different relationship with my family. My family takes care of me. They let me live in their house. Yes, I'm one of those people that still lives with their parents. Get over it.
You are in your early 20s.
Dude, with a $6,000 a month mortgage, I would too. I mean, like if you're looking at one of those $500,000 houses or whatever, jeez, that's insane. That's literally nuts.
But they take care of me and they let me have 2 cars because what 21-year-old kid doesn't like cars? If you don't, you're not an American. I'm joking. But like it's just so difficult for young people to get a foot in the ground with housing here, because even though you can rent out an apartment, the cheapest apartment in say which is a town that's about 10 miles from here, is pretty low income. You can rent a house there, but it's still $1,000 a month, which is just ridiculous for renting costs. I mean, I don't even make that a month, and I'm working full time.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So,
and this is getting real far off of like gun talk, but
no, you're talking about how hard it is for normal average people who aren't liberals and who aren't part of the privileged class, i.e., politicians.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they seem to be living better than we do.
I know, right?
That's because taxes, the state taxes are fucking 10% for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
it's crazy taxes right there. I mean, dude,
right?
I know you're right with your family, but man, you need to get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also pretty bad that we have that much state tax, and like it's gotten to the point that our infrastructure here is just so bad. We got potholes that are years old. I mean, I have
sounds
a
like South Carolina.
Yeah, I have a 1989 Toyota Supra. I love that thing to death. It's got electronic suspension, which I think is like the bee's knees for an 80s car. I think that's the coolest thing in the world, but I can't drive it to work just for the simple fact there are so many potholes on my way to work that I took it to work one day and this poor car is like beating itself to death going over these potholes, even with its really incredibly soft suspension.
So,
well, and the point is, you're talking about the meth heads and a dead meth head the next day, and you're in a place where you want to be able to defend yourself, right? Your rights get restricted. You're not in a state where if you had to defend yourself, you'd have a fighting chance to not end up going to jail yourself. I think that's a very good point. We don't have a gated security. We don't have a security detail with us. We don't have those things. We're out here to basically guard ourselves and our families. You have to have your firearms.
We don't have that, but people who do have that and have that even after they get out of office are telling us we don't need firearms and that the world has changed and they're no longer relevant. I'm telling them they're flying through their fucking teeth just waiting for a paycheck. Because they're
Here's what I have to say about that. As long as humans live walk on this planet, there is always a need for a firearm. Because at the end of the day, somebody's going to want somebody dead, and that somebody wants to protect themselves.
I'm going to say this. It's going even further. As long as humanity exists, there will be conflict. And where there will be conflict, there will be war. So telling people that we don't need firearms in any day and age when we could have them,
you're nuts.
You really, really need to go check yourself into the nearest hospital because you are mentally retarded.
Oh, you used the R word.
I use the R word. You know why? Because I'm not holding any punches tonight.
Yay! We pull no punches on this chat.
Only tonight.
Okay.
Now, Cycle Camp, what's going on with you? How bad are things over where you're at?
Everything's wonderful if you're rich.
But you're not.
Sounds like New Jersey.
You can live anywhere you want.
You're not rich.
Oh, yes, I am.
What, did you become a Bitcoin millionaire?
God, no, that shit. No, I did mine the old-fashioned way. I stole it from women and old ladies and stuff.
Oh.
I stole mine from trannies.
And kids, you know, I took their candy.
Did you take their lollipops?
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, Connecticut sucks, but you know, I've lived here my whole life, and you know, I mean, our governor just put a bill on the table to try to ban bumpers and I think also triggers as well, but I'm not sure if they're cranks or include echoes or not. But it's, you know, the problem is that in my state, we're losing population every year. And the people that are moving out are the people, they're the you know, 3 or 4%ers who are getting taxed to death. And the people that are moving in are all the guys working at, you know, Burger Mart. You know, and unfortunately we're if you looked at the entire state, you would swear we were a red state, except the 5 big population centers are violently blue, and they carry the day every time. So it's the same old thing. We import all these refugees and shit like that, and they're on the dole. So they vote for bigger and bigger government all the time because they're on the dole, and they're concentrated in the urban areas. And exactly, Scott, Connecticut is a welfare state. There's no question about it. Connecticut reflects the country, and it's, you know, we're approaching the point where 50% of the people in Connecticut don't work, and the other 50% support them. And, you know, similar to AWAG, but not quite as blatant. I'm only here because I had to put my mom in a nursing home last year. And I don't want to move out because I'm the one closest to her. I have her power of attorney. You know, I visit her pretty frequently. And I don't want to leave until she's gone.
I mean, didn't Benjamin Franklin say that those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a temporary safety, deserve neither liberty nor safety?
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Now,
Jersey,
but I'm done. I'm done catering. You know, when they did the assault weapon ban in 2013, I registered. You know, I had just bought a couple of guns. I only bought them because they were going to ban them. I never really wanted one, but I'm just a persnickety guy. When I heard they were going to ban them, I went out and bought a couple. But if they come back and ban anything else, they can go fuck themselves. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not registering nothing, and I'm not turning nothing in.
Yeah,
because I got the money to fight the suit.
If you're in a state of where, I'm going to say this right now to all of our viewers out there, if you live in a state where this is happening, you need to start speaking up. You need to go and call your representatives. Hell, even go out there with a sign, you know, in front of the State House to say, stop taking stuff away from us. You know, go and do something. And as far as them sending you a letter to turn your shit in, all I'm going to say is just bear it out in the backyard and tell them you don't have it. What are they going to do? Search your backyard? I doubt it. Because they're sending millions of these letters out. But even if it comes to, I doubt they're going to go to everybody's door, because they go to everybody's door and start taking people's shit away. And you get armed rebellion for that kind of thing. I'm sorry, but it just happens.
That's Massachusetts.
Yo,
That's not
I tell you
Connecticut.
what. I tell you what, if there were like 60 people just like armed with rifles that just walk around Trenton and demand no gun control. Oh man, if they got 60 people doing that, the politicians would quite literally shit themselves.
They wouldn't.
Well, now you're talking the Bundy Ranch, right?
They would need more than 60 people. You need at least 1,000 people.
That's going to be hard to do.
No, yeah. most police units aren't that big. I mean, the Bundys didn't have thousands of people. I don't think they were right, but I'm just saying they had a a couple hundred people. I think is sort of the numbers that we're talking about, and they stood up to the feds and said, "Hell no, we're not doing this." In fact, they just declared a mistrial in that case because the prosecutors withheld evidence. That was useful to the defense.
Plot thickens.
Oh yeah, it's just getting. But the problem is in Connecticut, the courts are a political arm of the government, and whatever the government says, the courts just uphold them whether that's the law or not. They just legislate right from the bench.
Well, there's also the problem, as I said before, that we have laws that subjugate and go around what the Constitution says. And the definition in the Constitution, I hate to say it, shall not be infringed. Infringement, infringed means the same thing now in the dictionary as it did in even as far back as even 1765. So all I have to ask is, what part of don't fuck with it do they not understand?
Right, but when you take your case to the state courts and they deny you, and then you appeal to the circuit and they say no, and then you go to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court refuses to hear your case, which is exactly what happened to us. We spent the better part of $1 million trying to fight the assault weapon and magazine ban, and when we got to the Supreme Court, they just refused to hear the case.
The Supreme Court hasn't heard a gun case since, I believe, we went over this, since McDonald. The McDonald was what, 2008?
Yeah.
That's 10 years. So the Supreme Court isn't doing it. I hate to say this, and while some people have said, oh, no, the Supreme Court has other stuff they're hearing, I don't think they're doing half of their job. I think they're dropping the ball and only doing the bare minimum of their work as Supreme Court justices and not actually doing their job that they were appointed to do. Because 10 years to hear even one gun case? No, I'm sorry. No, that's just no.
Kalishnikov 108 is asking me to ask you, Nightstrike, to look at the comment that he tagged you in.
All right. I hope it's a good comment. If it's something silly or stupid, I'm going to be angry.
No, angry is not on the chat.
No, we're not talking about that.
Nightstrike, scroll up to see my previous comment. And it says, Nightstrike, I agree with you. They bullshit us and they say they can't keep us safe and all this and that. And it's really so that they can line their pockets with money and tell everyone on this live stream.
All right. We read it.
Okay, I read it aloud. I can read. I passed grade school. Contrary to popular belief.
But most police forces and most police chiefs in the free states freely admit that they love their citizens to be armed, and they freely admit that they cannot protect them, that their response time is way too long, and that people ought ought to have some amount of responsibility in protecting themselves. So there's a real break between, what the progressive left says and what, rational thinking people think.
Well, see, there's people who are in touch with reality, and then there's people who are out of touch in reality, in imagination land, in imaginary land, and completely absent-minded of what's going on around them. And the liberals tend to fall into that category. If everyone could live in a gated community with, a security guard at the front gate that's armed, we wouldn't need to have this problem. But not everybody has that.
Right. And I'm still waiting for the report. I'm still waiting from the report from Las Vegas that says that those guns were actually used.
Yeah, me too.
I know he had them, but I have not seen a single report that says that he actually used bump fire style weapons during the course of his attack. And they've had plenty of time to do some ballistics and figure that out.
I'm going to put on the tinfoil hat and claim that I honestly believe that they were actual full auto rifles that were used.
I believe they were illegally converted full auto rifles.
Yeah, I got to agree with you guys on that one. So we all agree that there was some sort of rapid fire going on during the Vegas shooting, right? You guys all heard that.
Yeah, I really
multiple
doubt
videos, multiple sources. What's that?
I really doubt it was a bump fire.
So the photos that we were shown were fake of the guns that were in the room?
Potentially. No,
because we saw a bump fire stock on one of the rifles, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less, but it's probably wasn't the one used.
Oh, I know. I'm just asking. I'm not saying that should influence, whether or not we get rid of the bump fire stocks.
Yeah,
it should not. They're not going to change anything.
It's because of gun control that we had bump fire stocks, and now they want to take another step. See, I see this in steps. Is originally in 1986, they banned full auto for civilian usage, and that's essentially later along in the timeline, bump fire stocks came along because we're not legally allowed to own full auto, and that's a loop, pretty much a loophole around that. So no matter what you do, is soon there are going to be people that make reinforced belt loops so you can bump fire on your pants. Like Haynes is going to come out with steel braided belt loops, so you can bump fire faster. Do that, but
it's going to happen. But guys, I'm speaking to you, not only you guys in the panel, but everyone that is watching. Guys, if we don't start standing up and start making our voices heard and doing something, we are literally going to have to go and stand up. And I'm not going to say that we need to go and be armed, but we need to go and say, start doing your job and making the state or city you're in better instead of trying to take things away from the American people, because you've already taken enough away.
Yeah, I actually met with my state rep on Monday about this very issue.
Not everyone
and
can.
He was very, he knows I'm a gun guy, and he wanted to talk to me because he needed to understand some of the technical details of what the hell these people were talking about. So it was a good conversation.
Well, what kind of details? Can you go into detail?
He didn't even know what a bump stock really was. He'd never heard of one. And to be honest with you, most people haven't. Most people don't understand what bump fire means anyway. If you're not a gun person, you're probably not familiar with the term. And he was trying to understand that what exactly is a bump fire stock? How does it work? What does it do? Why is this different from an automatic weapon? That kind of thing. He was, he's looking for information.
You did tell him the ATF definition of a machine gun, and then say the bump fire stock just lets you pull the trigger faster, but you're still pulling the trigger.
And I let him know that the ATF that the bump fire stock is a relatively new thing, but that the ATF had been approached by the manufacturers when they first went to put them out and got a ruling from the ATF that they were just fine.
Because this stuff has been around. Bump firing has not been a new thing. It's been around since, as far as I know, like the early mid '90s. It's been around.
Well, Bumpfire's been around as long as semi-automatics have been around.
Right. Yeah, but as far as any sort of devices, I think the earliest device I saw was like a trigger actuator device, like in '93.
Yeah.
You're right before the assault weapons ban.
But yeah, but that's I'm just saying. You say, I'm not the guy that stands up and says people should do something. I'm the guy that gets up and says, okay, let's go have a meeting with the rep. Let's go file. I filed testimony with the ATF 2 days after they called for testimony.
Right.
I go down to my state capital every time we have one of these. There was a town here in Connecticut that wanted to pass an ordinance outlawing carry on public property. And even though it wasn't my town, I went to their meeting and presented testimony. Because because right now I'm still at the point where we're using the words. We're still trying to use the system. We're still trying to use our words. But eventually there will come a time when the words just aren't going to cut it anymore.
Yeah. Well,
and that's when you have to start doing the civil disobedience.
And I hate to say it, but that time is closely approaching. Because these people don't want to have a civilized conversation. They're incapable of even trying to keep an open mind and try and see where the other side is coming from. They just have a preconceived concept of what they want to accomplish and how they want to do it. And they don't give a damn whether the other side says no or yes or not. They're going to do it anyways. And if we don't do something to stop it, then I guess we're all fucked.
I'm probably going to get myself in trouble for saying this, but if you live in New Jersey and you have a bump fire stock, don't comply. Just don't.
I'm going to say, I've already said this. Bury it in the backyard and wait until this blows over. Hopefully it blows over. If it doesn't blow over, then go out and fight for it.
Vacuum pack it twice over and then bury it. That way it's preserved.
Yeah.
I actually did that with one of my rifles. I vacuum packed it and then I vacuum packed it again. So it's like dual sealed, and then I buried it in my backyard and left it there for a year. They'll get back up and it's completely fine. So
yeah, I've got a couple in waterproof airtight containers buried out in the backyard. But they're unserialized because they're what we call the ghost variety. And I don't mean ghost tactical branded. I mean they're ghost guns.
Well, here's the thing: is in New Jersey, it's still illegal to own an 80% lower, which is really stupid. So, if I can get this up, my phone. I'm always on mobile, so my PC downstairs is strictly for gaming.
My computer I'm on doing hit or miss is for gaming, but I do hit or miss every night on it, so you have no excuse.
Yeah, so, alright, just so you don't get mad at me.
I'm already mad at you.
So, instead of buying an 80% lower, I just bought a lot of really expensive tooling and a big old piece of aluminum.
Oh, that's one of those 0% lowers.
Oh, yeah, it's totally is. Actually, it's a negative 1% lower because, you have to reface everything and you have to, like, get the dimensions of it as well, so they're not predetermined dimensions. The two trigger holes go like right here and I think over here. So I have to measure that out probably later.
Yeah, you're gonna need a CNC machine.
Nah, I already got one of them.
Oh,
In all
really?
seriousness, I have a mill. I actually have a real mill that I bought a bunch of tooling and stuff for to build this AK.
Okay,
so.
you need to take all your tools and come down to South Carolina so we can start the Nightwagon Gunworks LLC.
There you go.
Hopefully that build video will start Friday. I decided to go into segments, like this segment, like the riveting rear trunnions, drilling the barrel hole, the port, basically everything that has to do with like the barrel, and then the receiver, and then the rear trunnion for the stock, and then I'm gonna break it up into sections instead of have one giant boring long video. So the first video that I'm gonna put out is probably for compliance because New Jersey. It's probably going to have just me chalking up some of these parts into the mill and taking the bayonet lugs off because kind of have to. And pinning or drilling the holes for the pins for the muzzle brake because New Jersey does not like pistol grips and muzzle brakes in the same sentence without pin. So yeah,
All right,
so look
cool.
forward to that.
All right. I have a question. You make a lot of compote, don't you, AWAC?
I indeed do.
I have a question for you. What kind of what kind of fruits do I need to use? Can I use frozen or do I have to use like fresh?
I would prefer you use fresh, but in a pinch you can use frozen. Only reason why I say fresh is because it holds more see, when you freeze fruits, it breaks down the sugars essentially.
So you just have to add more sugar.
Yeah, see when doing compote, it's more of a it's not like a specific recipe, it's more of a wing it and see how it tastes.
Right.
But if you add too much sugar, just add more lemon juice and it'll basically mask the sickening sweet taste to it.
Because I've got a lot of peaches, I've got a lot of frozen strawberries, I've got some frozen melon. I was thinking about
usually
some of that.
You want to stick to more than 3 fruits, but less than 5 fruits. So if you do too many fruits, then it's like a clusterfuck in your mouth, you know?
All right, so blueberries, strawberries, and what's another good one?
Blueberries, strawberries. Usually the one that I make is blueberries, strawberries, and cherries. I have substituted cherries with apricots, and it does taste really good.
Now, have you used like dried cherries before?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you ever tried using any dried fruit?
To tell you the truth, I wouldn't use dry fruit just for the simple fact that it will expand and it won't let the juices escape. See, what you want to do is you want to replace the fruit juice in the fruit. Sorry, my voice. Oh my gosh, my voice.
Well, AWAC, you're getting older now, and your voice is going to deepen, and you're going to find yourself getting hair in places you never anticipated. And
oh my gosh, I need
hold
a drink.
on. I have to say this. I have to say this for AWAC. Thanks, Dad.
No longer in the Vienna Boys Choir, huh? Yeah. Well, I do have a little bit of an announcement I'd like to make in terms of our firearms rights.
I'm not compromising the compote. Compote is a specialized drink, and I'm asking questions because I want to make some, but I don't have a lot of fresh fruit ingredients on hand right now. I just have a lot of frozen fruit because that's what I got. So,
cool.
That's why I asked. And I'm not trying to turn this into a food chat. It's just, it's one of AWAC's specialties. Okay. He did a video on his YouTube channel on how to make compote at home. It actually looks quite delicious.
It's very delicious.
I've got half the ingredients, but some of the ingredients I have are frozen. So I'm asking for advice.
Yes, frozen fruits are okay in a pinch.
In a pinch, they're okay.
Compote is a Slavic fruit drink that it's you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
It's basically made because of the excess fruit that you grow during the season. That way you jar it and you can have it for the winter time. Now, it can be served in the wintertime warm or cold, so it's like a universal drink. It's very good for you. It cleans you out.
But
physically and like it'll clean you out if you drink too much.
I have
Let
a
me just
question
put it that way.
for you, AWAG. You're not Slavic because your last name is rather English.
It's weird. See, I take mostly from my mother's side, which is I'm fourth generation Czechoslovakian. So,
Aha, there it goes.
and my father's side is Italian, and apparently I end up with a German last name.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's why I had to ask, because I'm like, wait a minute, your last name isn't. I mean, anyone who's got any type of Slavic last name, it would be Travis. So.
Yeah, so when it comes to compat, you can it's basically it's the AK of the drink world. Reliable, you can have it whenever you want, no matter what time of day it is. You know, it's good for you, much like the AK. AK is best for you.
Da, rifle is good. So.
I mean, and it's a pretty healthy alternative to basic sodas, and you know, you can make it however you like.
I drink a lot of soda because I drink coffee in the morning, but in the afternoon and evenings I drink a lot of soda because if I drink coffee, I'll be up for eight or more hours in the evening.
And the other thing with compote as well is you can eat the fruit as well. So it's like a drink almost meal. And it'll the basically the plant fiber from the fruit are already semi-broken down because they absorb so much water. So it's a very easy food drink to digest and chew if you have sensitive teeth or something. So personally, it's my favorite type of almost snack. I still don't know what to call it because it's like a food, it's a drink, it's
a smoothie?
It's not quite a smoothie because it's not blended.
No, good point. It's a pre-smoothie.
Yeah, it's a pre-smoothie. Pre-ice smoothie.
Well, wait, I could get some ice and use the leftover compote vegetables to make a smoothie.
There you go.
I'm never going to use
not
vegetables
vegetables
in compote.
Not vegetables,
Compote.
I mean fruit. But
Fruits, yeah.
Sorry.
Compote smoothie.
Brain fart there. But I could make a compote smoothie with just crusted ice, couldn't I?
Yeah. Now, the more bold you get with fruits, the more it kind of rewards you. Because I did one with banana, mango, and apricots, and that was awesome.
He's using his Jedi mind tricks again. You realize that, right?
Well, he's not a Travis.
No, but
No,
Travis is out. But Travis is listening on YouTube.
Which one? We're all right here.
Yeah. The Travi mind tricks are in full effect. Nightstrike.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Ellis.
No, you're very welcome. I've been here for quite a while. You never said hi, how you doing, fuck you, go to hell, anything.
I didn't see you jump in, so.
Well, that's not my fault. You're blind.
Well, apparently.
So, you know, I'm sure Travis noticed me. I'm right beside him, for Christ's sake.
We all hear you.
I was actually just taking a phone call, so I had to drop out for just a couple minutes here.
Oh.
See?
Any excuse.
See?
Yeah. Not that I was ignoring you, but no.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Damn Travi.
So we talked about a little bit about food because I had a question about it, and we talked about the bump stuff that's going on. There is one other topic I want to talk about because I think it's rather hilarious that they're even trying to attempt it, Let me pull up the article so you guys see this because it's pretty funny.
Is this that Hawaii kind of deal?
No, we could talk about that after, but this is actually happened today.
All right, I'm gonna stop talking because my throat hurts from talking so much.
So fans of Fallout may like this because apparently people in the southwestern part of California have decided they want to split off from the state of California and create new state of New California.
Don't tell me they're making the NCR.
They are. They're making the NCR.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Here, check this out. Okay. This is what I find hilarious. I'm going to screen share. Okay. This is the proposed map, and
wow, they're bold.
They got a bigger one here. All the blue is going to be California. Everywhere else is New California.
Cool. They're pretty bold taking that much land.
Yeah.
Meh, they don't need a whole lot.
Well, the part is, the rest of the state, you see the blue. You see this blue part? This is where all the liberals are. This part, the yellow part, is where all the Republicans and pro-gun people are.
I like that idea. Can we do that to New Jersey and separate it in southern and north New Jersey and South New Jersey? It's like North and South Korea.
Don't you live in North New Jersey anyways?
No, I live in South Jersey.
Oh, well, that makes it much better. Let me know how the Devil's doing.
I already shot him.
I meant the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, the Jersey Devil? Are you talking about the hockey team?
No, I'm talking about the actual Jersey Devil.
Nah, I already shot him.
You know the myth of that.
Yeah. The Pine Barrens, blah blah blah. Yeah, I've been there, done that.
All right, good. So, yeah, apparently they're creating New California, and all I have to say is,
Fallout fans, that jingle jangle jingle.
Fallout fans, rejoice! The New Californian Republic is happening.
Triple D.
Yeah, right. You honestly believe that's going to happen?
Hey, Trump happened. Nobody
Trump
thought it would work.
So...
Why not? Give it a shot.
Yeah, well.
I mean, they're rather ambitious, but what the hell? I mean, good luck. Knives, all I can say is, man, just move outside of where you live, and you are there, dude. You are in New California. You don't have to leave the state anymore. You'll be in a state that likes guns. Just saying.
I got a better idea. It's a much better idea. Let's just move everybody that likes guns out of California, and we'll move everybody that hates them into California. Then we kick them out of the United States completely.
Maybe we could just break
we
it off.
saw them off and
line.
kick them into the ocean.
No,
Yeah,
I saw that movie. Bad. I saw that movie. That was what movie was that? John Carpenter's Escape from L.A.
Sorry if I'm making loud clicking noises. I'm testing the lockup of this Magpul
So
545 PMag.
So, AWAG was talking about what's happened in Hawaii over the weekend. And pretty much what happened in Hawaii over the weekend was everyone got a text message from the emergency service saying that there was a missile incoming.
A ballistic missile at that.
Yeah, a ballistic missile, a warning. Or was it an alert? I don't remember which.
Well, it basically said this is not a drill.
Yeah, so that would make it an alert. Yeah.
So and everybody was frantically. A lot of people are pissed off because they literally called their entire family members and were, telling them their last goodbyes because they were assuming that they were going to die.
And then they tried pinning it on one guy. I really doubt that.
Well, no, there was one dude that his sole job is to click on something every couple hours, and he clicked on the wrong thing.
I really
have a theory about this.
doubt.
No, they were saying that they want to reform it now so that there's 2 people that have to do that before it can go off. There has to be another person that verifies the command click.
I see a meme coming.
This stuff happening.
Okay, go for it.
So I'm thinking that this is going to happen a couple times. And pretty soon, it's going to be like the boy who cried wolf. Pretty soon, everybody's not going to believe it when they get that alert. And then that missile really is going to come, and nobody's going to take cover, and everybody's going to die.
Well, hopefully HVS will have moved out of Hawaii by that point. But
if a nuclear weapon hits Hawaii, everybody's going to die anyway.
Nothing. I mean, yeah, where are you going to go?
You're not talking Australia.
There's no basements or anything,
So, anyways, well, there's that. I just had, somebody mentioned it, so, well.
Well, okay, here's what I want to introduce to the panel is, what would you do if you got that text message and and this is at like 2 in the afternoon. What would you do if you got that text message?
I mean, a lot of us are going to be at work. There's not much we can do. You couldn't just, depending on what your responsibility is.
Pretty much.
You're just basically going to have to sit there, I suppose, and just see what happens, I guess.
Wait it out. Ask somebody else if they got the same text message because it might be a scam. It could be it could be a joke.
In Nebraska, it's going to be a lot like a tornado siren. We're just going to go put our head between our knees and kiss our butts goodbye.
Well, no, there'll be people out there with their cameras filming it. That's what they do. Weather Channel footage,
And their armored
there will be
vehicles.
people driving around looking at the missile.
Yeah, exactly. Going down their front sidewalk. Oh, there she is.
Look at that.
Yeah. Which would pretty much be us because we've got SAC Air Force Base and NORAD controls and stuff like 300 miles away from where we live. So, yeah.
Well, between Omaha and Colorado Springs and Rapid City, where the missile silos are, I'm thinking that most of Nebraska is not going to survive the fallout no matter where it comes from. The wind's going to carry it from one or the other.
And in our luck, the wind will not be going in the direction we want it to.
No, you guys didn't even talk about what the really bad thing about that whole Hawaii situation was. And that was
how long it went on for?
Right. They knew within 10 or 12 minutes that this had happened, and it took them over an hour to send the all clear out to say, whoops, sorry.
Oh, I heard 40 minutes, but still, that's a long time.
Yeah, I heard it was like 40 or 45 minutes from the time they figured it out, and it took them 10 or 12 minutes to figure out that it had happened. So it was like over an hour.
What? So nobody that works there has a cell phone that went off and said, hey, look, you're about to be nuked.
Apparently not.
That's a good point. You know, it's
most
funny
of those places won't let you take the phone in.
Hey, no, guys. When CBS News was showing it this morning, when they showed that desk where that guy did that, there was a freaking iPhone plugged in with the charger right there on the counter, right by the monitor. It was in a white case. You could see an iPhone sitting right there on the counter. So they must allow phones in there, or they do have phones in there.
Yeah. All right.
I'm surprised the dude was probably checking his Instagram post when he wasn't paying attention with what he was clicking on. He was probably checking his Facebook updates and nightstryke, I do have a really quick announcement I want to make before you close this one out.
All right.
There is going to be a rally January 25th at the Capitol in Lincoln. If anybody's from Nebraska listening, we do have a senator that proposed a multi-burst activation trigger ban, which basically would include bumpfire stocks and suppressors. They want to propose to ban both of them, and they're having a hearing for it at our Capitol building. I think it's January 25th at 1:30. So they are organizing an anti-rally for that, an anti-ban rally for that next week in Lincoln.
So if you're in Lincoln next week, even if you're not from Nebraska, go help them out. If you are in Nebraska and you're gonna go there, support it. If you're in Nebraska and you haven't thought about going to support it, go and support it. Help them out. They need all the help they can get. We need to take a line, make a line in the sand, and tell them no. Otherwise, we're on the path to having only revolvers and black powder rifles.
Yeah, they did strike down like a couple of the bills that could have been nasty. They knocked those out. And this one has made it through now to the point that there's going to be an actual hearing on it. I don't know where it's going to go from there, but it's like LB 780. Yeah.
If you're like me and you're in Nebraska and you cannot go to Lincoln on the 25th, then you darn well better be contacting your state legislature. We don't have two houses. We have a unicameral, so all we have is senators here. If you don't know who your senator is in your district in Nebraska, go to nebraskalegislature.gov. Find out who it is. They've also got the phone number right there. You can call them, email them, bombard them, tell them to vote no, that we do not want this. And if they don't do what we ask, they will get replaced.
Come on, people. We need to start pushing this. You need to start going and telling them no more. Not one more inch.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Don't fuck with it. I mean, you don't have to say don't fuck with it.
I think that's probably what we just say at this point. So
don't mess with it. But if you don't want to be taken seriously, go ahead and say don't fuck with it. But regardless, hashtag shall not be infringed.
There you go.
Needs to mean something.
Motherfucker.
Hashtag no step on snack.
No snap on snack.
Yeah.
All right. And with this, thank you all for listening. I am Nightstrike. Thank my panel for being here and showing up and taking part of it. We didn't have a set topic, but we ended up talking about a lot of things and just, having a good conversation. And that's what Hit or Miss is about, good conversations. So
it's what guys do.
We also like to keep people informed, and we do that well enough too. So on that note, it is time to go. So thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.